Good morning, one and everyone. It is currently at 9:59 a.m. on the west coast of the United States of America currently, and we are ready to game. Welcome to Corsace Closed 2024. We have a great matchup for you in the losers bracket here. FlyingTuna, seed at number 5 versus tekkito, seed at number 10. I'm Fiery Ridge, going to be joined by Miles all the way on the New York coast. How's it going, Miles?
What's up, Fiery? It is currently 1 p.m. for me, and I am about just as tired as you are, I think. But
That is messed up.
Yep, definitely got a messed up sleep schedule here, but it's good. I'm still awake for this match. We've got FlyingTuna and tekkito in what I think is going to be one of the more interesting losers bracket matchups based on how their skill sets match up.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what either player would pick and ban into this. We were talking prior to this, we were thinking tekkito would probably ban speed. Seems like that's exactly what's going to be happening, as he immediately just bans DT3, gets that out of the way, no burst speed for him.
That's not necessarily a burst speed map, though. That's 444 BPM ult, so gonna be going...
Still speed.
Yep,
I still consider it speed. And I was also thinking Tuna would probably ban Hidden 1 prior to this match as well, so not too surprised to see that actually come out from Tuna there. Kind of expected bans. As for picks, though, you were kind of saying it. Like, these players have very similar skill sets. You could really argue any map goes in their favor. It's a toss-up for a lot of these types of maps, but we were thinking Tuna might be having the advantage on speed, which... DT1, arguably kind of speed, not as much as something like DT2, granted, but it still does have burst, but it's a lot more aim-focused, and I think you'll have a lot more to say about this map, Miles.
I did expect this map to get picked in this matchup, but I did not expect it to get picked this early. This map, Concho no Matenro, we saw an insane score from Emrek on this earlier today, actually getting the #1 DT score on the map in the match. But in this matchup, I don't know, but I feel like when it comes to these two players, it's like both of them can play speed, but I wouldn't necessarily call either of them speed players. And I would say the same thing about like reading and gimmick. Both of them more so, I think, tech mains. So that's really going to be, I think, what's going to make this matchup. It's going to be who can win those flex skill sets, the speed and the reading, because neither of which are specialists, but both of which are very competent at.
A bit higher AR on this one, AR 9.2 with double time, so not the AR 9 DT that a lot of players might be comfortable with at this level. We just got informed by Tuna's girlfriend Annie that Tuna is playing in a random ass PC cafe with a terrible setup after drinking and sleeping a grand total of 4 hours. So this is going to be a great match.
Yep, I mean, it's those matches that make tourney players. I feel like all well-seasoned tourney players have to experience a match like this at some point, so we're going to be hoping the best for Tuna here. But tekkito, you know, he prepares a lot for his matches. Going to see how he can adapt to this map. Tuna's first pick, Concho no Matenro. Let's go.
Both players holding on to the combo for that first section. We'll see if they can continue holding as the map picks up in intensity here.
Tuna not looking to be struggling too much despite the PC cafe setup. Full comboing through that, but finding the break on the buzz slider as tekkito holds on with a massive accuracy lead as well. 98.6% through the first chorus, just a few jumps ago before he gets through it, but he finds the break on the little linear back and forth. Now combo's going to be equal, but the AC lead for tekkito really going to be supplementing his lead for now.
About a 40k score lead in favor of tekkito. Anyone's game still, as we only are 1/3 of the way through the map, as we have a little slow section here for players to get their combo built up a bit.
Also, I'd like to mention, I feel like it could be a bit of a good omen for Tuna to pick a map like this right off the bat, despite being on a PC cafe, because, you know, when you're on a different setup, I feel like it's the mechanics that are going to struggle the most, because people really get used to their own setups for the really mechanically intensive stuff.
Missing right on those jumps before the harder jumps here. tekkito manages to hold through them. We'll see if he can keep that. Okay, well, there goes that combo. Does give him more of a lead, though. 60k points now over 40k points. Tuna's going to need to start building up a combo, and tekkito's going to start having to miss soon, which is exactly what is happening. It's going to require a bit more than that, but this is looking good for Tuna if he can manage to hold this combo for a bit longer.
And Tuna's accuracy is steadily improving throughout the map. He's starting to close in on Tekkito in that regard, but finding another break, he really needs to start to get his combo together soon.
As soon as I said anything about it, man.
Never change. Fiery caster curse never ends.
Why does this happen to me, man? This is awful. Missing on the buzz slider as well. That's just actually unlucky. Not entirely over, but it is starting to seem a bit doomed here as we have a fourth of the map remaining, and Tekkito is kind of just nailing this jump section here.
Tuna finding a couple of really unlucky breaks on some buzz sliders in this map, really taking out some of his big combo potential, while Tekkito goes into one of the slower parts of the map with a massive combo lead and the accuracy lead in tow. As Tuna finds another break, I think we could just about call this one.
Yeah, not really any hope left for Tuna in this, as Tekkito's just kind of nailing this entire ending, having no issues whatsoever here.
Might even be able to approach 1,000 combo by the end of it if he can FC the ending, but the ending is the hardest part of this map, as we saw Emrek break on it earlier. But let's see if Tekkito can do it. Already passing 500k score. He is going off on the ending of this map, still hitting all of the jumps as Tuna continues to find breaks. Finally finding the drop.
Break, but he hits the entirety of that awkward aim section. That is nasty work from Tekkito there. My God.
Tekkito coming out guns a-blazing on FlyingTuna's first pick, taking the break point on DT1. Now, I said it would kind of be a good omen for Tuna to be picking mechanics this early, but when you find the break point that early for Tekkito, it's going to be very good for him and very bad for Tuna. You never want to see the break point on the first pick.
And we're talking about how a lot of the picks in this are kind of toss-up tier, though. As both of these players have very similar skill sets. DT1 was, granted, something we were expecting later in the match, but it was another one of those toss-up tier maps. But Tekkito sparing no time whatsoever, seeing that DT1 went in favor of him somewhat. Why not go for Mr. I can't say that, double time 2.
I am so happy this map got picked. Oh my God. I was worried we were going to have the same situation as last week where DT2 just gets permabanned, but Mr. KMS left open. Very iconic map by Matrix. Lots of awkward finger control, lots of awkwardly shaped bursts as well for a very, very long and straining finger control challenge. Gonna be Tekkito's first pick. I think seeing that accuracy advantage on Concho no Matenro probably prompting him to pick this.
A lot more speed intensive than a DT1. You saw a lot of bursts at 280 BPM on that one. This one is all about the finger control and general stamina requirement. I believe the only TTFC on this is Matthew, which kind of speaks for itself.
Gotta shout out my boy Malteser, also with the DTFC on this. DT only.
Malteser got a DT on it. Okay. I haven't paid attention to the leaderboard on this ever since like a year ago, so I wouldn't know.
I mean, he was grinding this map for such a long time. He actually one-missed it on the land setup at COE, and that was the most crazy thing to see in real life. So just got to shout out my boy.
I respect it. Spare also has a double time FC. Man, I really need to pay attention to this leaderboard, apparently. I didn't think it was that popular of a speed map. And Ryan, Ryuk, my man, slider break. Just like how he drew it up, probably.
Yep. You know, the typical speed players you expect to see on a leaderboard for a map like this, and you can already see the map right from the start. You see some of these triples, some of these slightly longer bursts as well, and that's really going to be the name of the game for this map. And I think we're going to really start to see quickly who's more comfortable on this than the other, as Tuna already drops down to under 90% accuracy, and Tekkito...
I think we're already going to be seeing who's more comfortable on this. Tuna is managing to hold the combo, which is obviously the more important thing. Especially if Tekkito drops a miss at some point here. Combo can definitely become a factor on a map which has a 2K combo, but this accuracy lead is kind of monumental, and it's not going to be helped by that miss, as this score lead is going to drastically grow out of control.
Yep, and Tekkito, once again, just like Concho no Matenro, holding such a mammoth accuracy lead, this time almost 10% in his favor. And now with the FC still in tow as well, he's already up 100k in the score as we get into a slow part. He gets through that first intense part of the map, and Tekkito is going to look to run away very quickly on this one.
Tekkito is not someone that you really think of when speed comes up, but he has been kind of just on a tear with speed in this tournament lately. He has been insane at this skill set, quite frankly. And he's just showing it off here, showing his stuff.
But now the question is,
okay, I need to stop talking, apparently. My bad. Not going to be the end of the world.
Fiery Rage Curse of Ra landed on tekkito for that one. Still 96%, still a massive lead of over 150k, but now combo going to be equal. And tekkito's aim is looking pretty shaky.
And luckily for him, it's not going to matter too much as Tuna also finds a lot more misses, still continuing to struggle on the map, so this lead is still going to remain in favor of tekkito for now.
As we get into the longest slow part of the map, it is going to be still a combo and accuracy lead for tekkito, as looks like we're just going to be coasting out the rest of this one. tekkito would need to have a massive breakdown at the end of this map for FlyingTuna to have any chance, and Tuna would have to FC after not FCing arguably the easier half of this map.
Oh, let's see what anything can happen still. Third of the map remaining. And the miss at the beginning of the section is not a good omen.
Not at all. tekkito still holding on, these bursts being no issue for him at all, as his accuracy is improving from where it was at the end of the last section. Up over 96 once again is tekkito, surpassing 400k score. We're going to see if he can manage to FC the ending of this map, which is extremely difficult.
He's just nailing this part, man. I'm saying that, but he's starting to become a bit shaky. Maybe I should not talk anymore.
He hit the first Pentagon burst. Oh, he finds the slider break. That is so unlucky for tekkito, but he still looks like he's going to pass 500k by the end of this, which is such a good score on this map. And Tuna's just going to...
Yeah, there's not really much he can do in this situation. Even if he FC'd the rest of the map and tekkito put his pen down, he wouldn't have won this, so not really anything he can do. Just kind of unlucky speed gap at the very end there. The stamina requirement at the end becomes very, very difficult, so probably just a bit of frustration there, but hey, nothing he really can do. Just go to the next point, and I'm assuming that is exactly what Tuna is thinking right now.
Speed advantages are so polarizing in a tournament setting. When you're losing a DT map or a speed map, you know you're going to be losing it. Like, when tekkito now, a definitive speed advantage could look to some other speed picks in the pool, like the Nomad 5 still remaining, while FlyingTuna now, at this point in the match, after losing 2 double times, might look to ban one of the speed maps remaining. But yeah, now pick back in the court of FlyingTuna. He's really going to need to get on the board here, as tekkito has consolidated that first break point.
Interested to see if Tuna opts to go for some mechanics picks here, or if he wants to go with the Hard Rock pool. I think both of those, okay, that's the exact opposite of what I was thinking he would go for. Nomad 6.
Certainly another direction to go. As I was mentioning earlier, speed and gimmick, I thought, were both really flex skill sets for these players, neither of which are really specialists, but it's really important to establish yourself in either of those categories early on in a match. So Tuna, realizing he lost the speed, now going to go on into the gimmick. The Nomad 6, this map just super brutal with the reading in this one.
This is definitely... I mean, you said both of these players aren't really known for gimmick. I'd kind of argue both of them are. Tuna is pretty well known for being fairly good at gimmick picks. tekkito, mostly on the hidden side, known for gimmick, but both these players are more than confident on Nomad gimmick-oriented maps.
Have you seen this custom, Fiery?
I have not. I have not seen anything in this pool, so this is going to be a live reaction for me on this.
All right, so this one, it's AR9. It plays almost like an aim control kind of alt tech pick, where there are a lot of triples that overlap on each other, lots of rhythms that are expressed in perfect stacks that just make this kind of an all-around, just kind of demonic map in this map pool. I've seen players post some of their scores in the participants channel, and this map is just so difficult for the context of this map.
It's one of those maps.
Yep, it's one of those maps. These players already struggling on the first patterns. Look at the accuracies. They are already suffering on this one.
This is, if anything, this would be the first map that comes to mind for me as a form map, worst HR player map.
That's a good way to put it, I think. tekkito going to be finding a break on that space triple. Also over-tapping another one. His accuracy going down in the dumps as FlyingTuna starts to establish a combo, and he's going to look to take the first lead of this match for himself.
Having no issue reading these patterns whatsoever. These direct stacks can trip up a lot of players, but not going to be any issue for Tuna as he nails that back and forth section. Both players actually nailing that.
Going to be very important for neither player to find chain misses, because on maps on no mod where the combos are going to be low, it matters so much to keep your accuracy in check, and tekkito is going to find the next break along with an accuracy drop as well. So now Tuna with the combo and accolade, but he finds the drop. So now once again equality, but a 50k lead accumulated for Tuna is going to be really good for him at the halfway point of this map.
Still anyone's game. Halfway remaining on these maps. We get into some of these space triples. These are brutal to combo. Oh my god.
Yep, now you see why I think this map ended up being one of the hardest in the pool. Local Hero really cooked on this custom. As tekkito finds drops on some of these triples, it's gonna end up being good for Tuna. The combo reset's gonna favor his already established lead at around 70k.
We're gonna be seeing that at the break too, so third of the map remaining. As long as Tuna doesn't find some chain misses, this will be within his realm of taking his first point in the match. As I say that though, a bit of struggles in the early stages there, not going to matter too much as tekkito finds a miss shortly afterwards as we get into the final section here. The goal, not to chain miss. We'll see if Tuna can manage that.
Yep, this last breakdown, very flow-oriented, means a lot of opportunity to chain miss, and Tuna's dropping some accuracy, but tekkito finding that drop might just be solidifying it for Tuna. Barring any chain misses, he starts to drop. The accuracies are now equal. tekkito has a slight combo lead, but I think he needs more help from Tuna if he wants to take this one back.
This is still within the realm of tekkito managing a point here. It's going to require more on the side of Tuna and less on the side of tekkito for breaking, as that break is not going to be helping things whatsoever. Still just 40k though. If we find a chain miss at the very end here from Tuna, this is possible, and it's looking less and less likely as Tuna is just having no issues with this ending section whatsoever and going to be FCing it.
Yep, getting through that, nearly 300k, and a comfortable victory for FlyingTuna to get on the board in what was a much-needed pick for him to win. And yeah, looking at these scores, maybe this should have been a week later in the map pool.
The map pooler himself admitting that maybe he cooked a bit too hard. Yeah,
maybe just a bit. But I could say with confidence, I don't think any of the reading maps in this tournament are going to get much harder than that. So we've hit maybe the ceiling of scaling. I don't think any of our further maps are going to be going that much further than that. But nonetheless, pick for FlyingTuna 1. Pick now back in the court of tekkito, still trying to keep his breakpoint advantage. Gonna, I think, be looking to the remaining speed pick in the pool as we approach the next ban phase. FlyingTuna, you know, after those first 2 DT losses, probably gonna ban out something tapping related. So tekkito, maybe a little bit of pressure here to pick one of those remaining tapping oriented maps.
Realistically speaking, probably no mod 5, but if he doesn't feel too comfortable on that, then we could see something else being pulled out here. Maybe a no mod 2.
For sure. I'm not sure if tekkito will go for this Nomad 2. This one's more of a flow aim thing. Probably not going to be something that Tuna's not going to be able to play. And it is going to be the Nomad 5 Celestial Stinger, mapped by Mythu.
This was one of the few 9-star ranked maps when that was a rarity back in 2018. This is the difficulty below that, but still nonetheless very speed-oriented. A lot of bursts scattered throughout this entire map.
But this map also with a very tangible aim difficulty. I think the first half is mostly going to be finding difficulty from the aim, and then the second half is really where the bursts start to pick up, as both players not having much trouble with the early goings of this map, but tekkito with the 99.55 act. You know who's more comfortable on these bursts right now.
Both players are holding the combo, and combo is king. We're going to need to see tekkito drop, though, and that accuracy is nasty from tekkito as he's going to be dropping at these speed sections. Tuna is still holding throughout that entire burst section. It's just the accolade is fairly massive in tekkito's favor right now. That's making all the difference right now.
But this map is very short. We're already nearing the last quarter of the map. Any break now could be huge. If it's not matched by the opponent, then it's going to shoot so heavily in favor of that player. Both players making it through that long burst. Still the accuracy lead for tekkito. Are we going to see a double FC on Celestial Singer? This map is 8.3 stars, by the way.
Entering the last section here, just a bit more map remaining. Neither of these players want to give up their lead. I think with the accuracy in tow, tekkito has just found himself a victory on this as he hits the entire ending. Tuna dropping there wouldn't have mattered anyway. 13,100 FC from tekkito.
Wow. That has got to be like, I think a 700 PP play.
650 is the PP play on that.
Okay, now, with those two scores, I would like to say Corsace Closed is now recruiting speed players to help us balance speed, because these scores are not okay on the Nomad 5. The average score on literally everything else in the pool is going to be so much lower than that. Such good scores by tekkito and Tuna on that one. And now tekkito instantly going to be banning out the Nomad 1 in the second ban phase.
And not too surprising. The remaining mechanics map probably just not wanting to deal with Nomad 1 RNG mechanics. Not really too surprising. Tuna banning out Nomad 2. Kind of expected, all things considered. 210 BPM flow aim. Still has a bit of stream stamina coupled in there as well, though. So no more streams for tekkito to take advantage of here. At least not to the extent of something like the Nomad 5 or DT2.
And now, after that Nomad 6 win, do you reckon that FlyingTuna actually goes for the Hidden 2? That Xeria same map?
I'm not too sure. I think Nomad 3 actually might be a realistic pick here. I feel like Nomad 3 is probably a bit more comfortable for Tuna to pick into compared to Hidden, especially with that Hidden 1 ban. I'm not too sure if he would want to bother going with Hidden 2 or Hidden 3. I think that's something tekkito is probably going to be picking into. Hard Rock Pool is also untouched. It is worth mentioning that, since tekkito not as comfortable on Hard Rock, definitely more than capable of playing it, but not as comfortable or confident as he is with Hard Rock compared to something like Hidden. See if that plays a factor in Tuna's decision making here.
I definitely like the Nomad 3 now that you say it. That map is a lot of aim control, similar to the Nomad 6. Also, I think has a tangible reading strain in that map. So once again, similarly to the Nomad 6, but he's going to throw a complete curveball at us. Going to go for the Hard Rock 1 like the Gale. This HR1, not a typical Hard Rock 1. This map is a lot of streams, actually. Lots of flow aim strain, which is kind of funny to see after banning the Nomad 2. But this one, I think the aim control really taking the cake for the most difficult factor of this map, which probably had a big impact on his reason to pick it.
Yeah, 182 BPM, so not nearly as straining on the stamina requirement as the Nomad 2. A lot more manageable for pretty much every player, I'd say. Especially at this level, 182 BPM is pretty much just child's play. It's going to be a lot more focused on the aim component, which is probably why Tuna picked it, seeing the Nomad 1 ban out from tekkito. Probably wanting to capitalize off that, just test the water, see what he can pull out here, as he needs to still get a break point.
This map is Chain Miss City somehow. If you were to have a map that is Chain Missy on OD10, it would be this one. So many difficult cut streams in this that you can just easily fall off of, as we already see Tuna falling off of some of those, finding breaks. On the beginning, both players struggling. tekkito once again with an accuracy lead, as that's going to be the story of the match.
Both players not really having a good time accuracy-wise in the beginning there. Tuna struggling a bit more, but does have a very slight combo lead. I need to go outside and enjoy the sun.
Hey, let me match you on that. tekkito still doing well, 96% AC, holding on to that 250 combo.
It's not working. It's not working.
I just don't have. I don't have the juice. I don't have the juice, man. Like, what do you have that makes this happen?
It's not working.
Like, what is this?
Yeah, tekkito is now kind of just running away with this. He's absolutely nailing all these flowing sections. These are really hard to hit, and he is making them look like child's play. Tuna's not that far behind either. F seeing exactly the same sections, but it just doesn't matter.
tekkito's
finally going to be dropping, but Tuna trades it immediately after, and I think that just about does it. This score lead is almost 150k, and it's going to require a lot of chain misses from tekkito in order for this to even be remotely possible for Tuna to get back into this.
This part is one where you can find a chain miss, but the chain miss is going to be coming from FlyingTuna, and that accuracy drop is probably going to be sealing it. Down at 92% with no combo. Going to be a death sentence on a pick with only an eighth of the map remaining, and tekkito is going to look to find a second break point in this matchup to go up 4-1. Tuna maybe being baited a little bit by that No Mod 1 ban.
At the very least, it does give him a bit more information as to what to pick into. So probably not going to want to pick into something like Hard Rock 2, I would imagine, after that. Granted, Hard Rock 2 is the precision-oriented map, CS 8 on that, compared to CS, I think, 5.5 on this one. But it's going to be an uphill battle now, needing 2 breakpoints to get back even in this matchup here. No more speed, which is the good thing.
Let me see. For tekkito, one thing that I think is funny in this matchup, both players, I think, mostly known for their tech. Neither player really picking into the tech in this pool so far, unless you want to count No Mod 6 as a tech map, which you could.
So we're going to be seeing them start to pick into that. After Hard Rock 3, I think this is where we get into a lot more toss-up territory for both of these players. It's just kind of whoever's feeling more confident on these types of maps. Hard Rock 3, though, after seeing Hard Rock 1, probably not too surprising to see this being picked out.
This map is a little bit similar to the HR1, more of an alt map than a stream map if you were to compare the two, while this map also has a finger control strain as well in it. Probably something where, once again, he's going to be trying to test Tuna's tapping, as this map has a few very distinct finger control sections that break apart the courses that are more alt-oriented. And FlyingTuna really going to start to be on rough waters here if he has to lose this pick. tekkito now with this pick could go up to match point, which would be devastating for Tuna's chances in this match, as he still needs to take 2 breakpoints to regain equality.
Some struggles from both players in the early stages here, combo-wise for Tuna and accuracy-wise for tekkito. It's going to be keeping things relatively even in the early stages. tekkito is going to be starting to get the lead back, though.
I think it's very important for Tuna to be able to keep an AC lead on a pick like this, because tekkito's really been holding onto that accuracy lead for most picks in this matchup. And here's that first finger control section. Gonna see if either of these players find a break, and it's gonna be tekkito finding the drop. Tuna holds on, but he finds the break on the triangle, and he drops his accuracy as well. So tekkito gonna once again be able to hold on to the accuracy lead, and that's gonna translate to about 20k of the score lead.
As he drops on the fast repeat slider, it's giving Tuna slight combo lead. It's not going to be anything super noticeable, but it is going to be something in favor of him as we go into some of the harder double section here. No one really having any issues hitting those sections of the map as we get into hope
Hardest
you guys
part of the
like
map.
grid snap. Tuna doesn't like grid snap. Tekkito doesn't like grid snap. That's a chain miss almost from Tekkito there, barely recovering at the end.
That is the hardest pattern of the map, and through that breach, we see about a 15k lead for Tekkito as he finds more breaks, but Tuna's matching them. Neither player really having a good time with this part of the map as we're about to go into the next triangle section. Both players found breaks here last time. We're going to see if either of them can get through it this time.
Tekkito dropped in the early stages, which actually gives Tuna the advantage here, as well as a slight accuracy lead going into the second chorus. Very, very tight, still anyone's game, but Tuna having a slight advantage for now.
And into this more simple part, Tuna might be able to compact the lead, but he finds the break on that little straight stream. And now Tekkito with the massive combo lead is going to take the score lead back. Tuna absolutely needs Tekkito to find a drop here.
That was the unluckiest miss of all time, if I'm going to be entirely honest. Just slight under aim. Tekkito finally finds a drop, so advantage now for Tuna, as long as he can hold the accuracy, and if Tekkito finds any chain miss during this section, it'll switch immediately over, but nothing happening so far. Tuna drops a combo lead. It's not really anything noticeable, though. It's still anyone's game getting into the ending here. It's literally just whoever can manage to hold their combo and not chain miss at the end like Tekkito does. Is that gonna be enough if Tuna manages to hold on to the rest of it? But he doesn't! But Tekkito chain misses at the end, too! Is that enough? Who's gonna miss more?
And it's gonna be Tuna. Tekkito clutching it out at the end. A 4,000 score lead for Tekkito at the end. Gonna be compacting that score lead enough to win the pick. FlyingTuna, that miss on the slow part, really gonna be taking him out of this one as Tekkito makes it to match point. Pick now back in Tuna's court.
That's just unlucky, man. This map is really hard, but that miss is just so unlucky. As we said earlier, bit of a struggle in setup wise, and I think that probably was just uncomfortable setup at LAN. Who knows, but that was just really unlucky for Tuna. Tekkito playing out of his mind at the end there.
So unfortunate for Tuna.
It's back in his ballpark, though. That was Tekkito's pick. So Tuna at least has that to go off of. He has feeling somewhat confident getting that close on something that Tekkito picked. And now remaining is a lot more of the toss-up maps. So we go into, yep, there we go. There we were kind of discussing that he was maybe going to go into some of the reading maps after Nomad 6, and that is a reading map, Hidden 2.
With the state of the Hidden 1 in this map pool, this Hidden 2 very, very aim-focused, lots of difficult pattern aim. Almost similar to the round of 16 Nomad 3 by Xarius, actually, where there's a lot of these difficult hexagon jumps that are going to make up a lot of the difficulty of this map. The hexagon jumps placed in a lot of very strategic moments in this map. If you can hit those, you're going to get a really good score on this, but I think we're going to be hard-pressed to see either player hit all of them. This is a loser's bracket matchup, by the way. Loser of this match is going to be eliminated, so Tuna now back up against the wall.
Yeah, he needs to win every point from here on out just to force a tiebreaker. If there's anyone that could do it, though, it's Tuna, especially with the remaining maps in the pool being as toss-up-y as they are. It's going to all start with this pick here, though, Hidden 2.
And Tuna's repertoire, he is one of the comeback players of all time in OC tournaments. He's made comebacks like this before in World Cups, in 1v1 tournaments. He is the type of player that isn't necessarily fazed by being in this situation. But against a player like tekkito on a hidden pick, he's going to have to combo a lot of this map, especially with the accuracy drop at the beginning. But tekkito going to be finding the early break, so Tuna going to be able to take this lead shortly.
And taking this lead by storm, actually, and having no issue with these wide-angle jumps, which are really tough to hit. tekkito struggling a bit in the early stages there. Still has the accuracy lead, but combo is king, and that is what is mattering the most here. As Tuna is going to be managing to take the lead for now.
As his accuracy has recovered, he's going to start to take that lead very quickly. Already about 30k in his favor, especially if tekkito finds any more breaks. It's going to start to be really dangerous, and tekkito finding the next drop. Tuna now in a very dominating position on this pick.
These are some nasty snaps. And Tuna finally going to be dropping at the end there, but it's not going to be the end of the world, as tekkito doesn't really have that much of a combo to capitalize on it right now. If the misses keep happening, that's when it's going to be a bit problematic, but we're halfway through and somewhat solidified a 50k score lead. I need to maybe not mention that.
I mean, it's fine. tekkito finding another break. As long as Tuna doesn't melt down on the accuracy, it should be good for him on this pick, unless tekkito does find a massive combo. And at the halfway point in this map, neither player really able to solidify a foothold on this map. That early combo from Tuna doing so much work for his score lead here. That 50k score lead just being consistent despite the accuracy lead for tekkito.
And the accuracy is what keeping tekkito in this. That combo from Tuna, likewise, keeping him in the forefront as we get into the last third of the map. It's not a very solidified lead, all things considered. Fourth of the map remaining and just under 40k point. The accuracy is really helping tekkito out here. But as long as Tuna can manage to hold through at least some of this ending section, should be okay for him.
35k score lead. And tekkito finding that drop in the end course is probably going to spell the end of this one. Tuna staying alive, taking that next reading map, getting once again on the board. Score now 2-5. He's still got a lot of work to do if he wants to stay alive in this match, though. Has to win 2 tekkito picks. And tekkito...
This is kind of nasty work from Tuna on this ending here, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, he's
dropping
hitting
a
a lot
slider
of these.
break there, but he was doing a pretty good job of that, all things considered.
Diff spike at the end. Tuna making good work of that. Gonna end up taking the pick by around 50k, and that lead was honestly solidified for most of the map. That early combo doing so much work, despite the 2% consistent ACK lead for tekkito on that one. Tuna does what he has to do on that pick. But now, what does tekkito pick? As we mentioned, there's a lot of contested maps remaining in this pool. The Nomad 4 and the Hidden 3, I think most notably going to be very toss-up between these two players. But Hard Rock 2 going to be the pick for tekkito. He saw that win on the HR3 and decides to go for that. But this is the Hard Rock aim map of this map pool. tekkito banned the Nomad one because it's aim. This is CS 7.8, almost full screen linear jumps. So this could be a landmine for tekkito.
This is... I don't think of either of these players necessarily as the greatest on precision, so this is definitely one of those toss-up maps that could pretty much just go either way, honestly.
Just depends on who hits a few more of the jumps, but with the state of this map being mostly just single taps, I don't know if tekkito is really going to be able to abuse an accuracy advantage on this, because there is just no tapping strain at all on this map. It is all in the aim, it is all in the precision.
Well, let's find out here. CS8, so a lot more precision-oriented than a lot of the other tournaments where you usually see circle size max out at about 6.5, sometimes something like 6.8 instead, but it's a lot smaller than that, as you can see from the map itself.
This is certified Osu for ants here. Neither of these players necessarily known for their precision, but both able to play it, as both players start to orient themselves pretty well on the high circle size. Neither of them finding any early drops, which is what you really worry about when you start a precision pick. And tekkito is going to find the first drop. Still going to be holding on to that accuracy lead, but now Tuna holding on to the FC no longer. Still, though, it's going to be balanced on a knife's edge here, this lead. Only a small combo lead for tekkito, but that chain miss is really going to start to hurt his chances in this one, as tekkito still with the 99% and the combo lead going to start to run away with this one, already about 40k, but the break comes out for tekkito as well.
This is a map where you can literally just miss any pattern, especially on some of these stream patterns. You can just miss some of these streams fully as soon as you miss that first node. It's so brutal to get back into it. So even with that chain miss from Tuna, still a 30k score lead for tekkito. Anything can happen at this point, really. It just requires a couple more chain misses or a couple more misses on some patterns, as both players are just not having a good time right now.
The crazy backup dancers taking no prisoners here. Both of these players struggling so much. But once again, I have to point to the accuracy lead for tekkito. When the lead is this close, that 2% really does so much. As Tuna finds another drop, it's going to start to look dire. We're in the last quarter of the map. Tuna really needs to start to get some combo together if he wants to have any chance on this one, because tekkito's accuracy lead still at 2%. Going to make up a lot of that 40k.
Oh my god, what did tekkito miss on? That actually might be doing it if Tuna can manage to hold through this entire ending here.
He's holding fire. He's
oh
holding. He's
my god.
Fires. Oh my god.
I'm going to be missing at the end and chain missing on the triples.
No. Those breaks might just be spelling the end for FlyingTuna and Corsace Closed. tekkito with the 30k lead is going to be enough going into the ending. There is nothing more that Tuna can do, and tekkito is going to be escaping his clutch.
We're talking about a toss-up pick. That could have gone either way for most of that match.
Oh my god.
The accuracy lead is what inevitably gives tekkito the upper hand on that, as he beats Tuna 6-2. He's going to be taking on Kriller in the losers bracket later tomorrow.
Oh,
as we get to see replay. Thank you, tournament client.
Thank you, Cavo. But yeah, that's going to do it. tekkito taking the victory. FlyingTuna, under unfortunate circumstances, having to play this one from a PC cafe, still putting up some good performances from us, taking 2 reading picks, getting 2 points on the board. Not a shabby performance at all. But the story of this match really going to be the accuracy from tekkito, having the accuracy lead on pretty much every single point in the match. Tuna having to wholly rely on the combo game, and that is just something you can't really rely on when you get into these 8-star map pools.
Yeah, when maps become this hard and combo becomes a lot more scarce, outside of that No Mod 5, it's a lot more accuracy based, as Score V2 relies, I think, roughly 30% on accuracy, 70% on combo. So having the accuracy lead does make a pretty huge difference when maps get as hard as they are in this tournament, which is what pushes tekkito over the edge.
Mm-hmm.
Still got some matches. We have another match today, actually. 23 UTC tekkito versus intercamming, known as faker camming right now. The rest of the matches after that are going to be on Sunday, though. We'll get you those matches. The last one happens for Saturday. Anything else you'd like to add, Miles?
23 UTC, I believe that is in 5 hours and 15 minutes, if I can do any math. So be sure to put that one on your calendar. Stick around for that one. Decatur intercamping. That's going to be a fire matchup. But I'd like to thank you all for watching FlyingTuna versus tekkito. And I hope you all have a good rest of your day or night, wherever you are.
Go Knicks.
Let's go, Knicks.